11 signs he's using you. In this video, I'm gonna share the biggest signs a guy is playing you and what to do about it. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. Not knowing how a guy feels about you is very painful, especially when you have strong feelings for him. What makes it even more painful is if you feel like this guy is using you or playing you or just isn't serious about you. If you feel like he's just using you as a means to an end, the end being his own pleasure. You might not really know. Is he using you, or are you just being paranoid and insecure? In this video, I'm gonna break it all down for you. I'm gonna tell you the biggest signs that he's using you, and then I'm gonna tell you what to do about it. So make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. For more relationship advice, please subscribe to this channel, ring the bell to turn on notifications, and leave me a comment if you have any questions or if you have any feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Okay, let's get into it with the 11 signs that he is using you. Number 1, he's wishy-washy. One day he's all in, he's super into you, he's obsessed with you. The next day he is nowhere to be found. You have no idea where you stand with this guy. Some days it really seems like you're in a serious relationship, and other days it seems like he doesn't like you at all and you just have no idea what's going on. When he doesn't like you enough, he can just be all over the place. One day he's all in, the next he's nowhere to be found. If you feel like your guy is hot and cold and sending mixed signals, it is a strong sign that he is just using you and just doesn't like you enough. Number 2, he doesn't take you out on dates. If a guy isn't interested in pursuing a serious relationship with you, he's gonna just keep it as casual as possible. He might not put in much more effort than asking you to come over and watch a movie. And if you always oblige, then he'll have no motivation to change anything, because as human beings, we try to get away with as much as we can. We want to put in the minimal effort to get the maximum reward. So if he doesn't really have to put in any effort and you'll just show up, then he's not going to put in any effort. Number 3, he tells you he doesn't want a relationship right now. When a guy says, I don't want a relationship right now, that is not code for, I'm just waiting for the right woman to come along and change my mind. We talk about this a lot in this channel. I even have a whole video about what to do when a guy says he doesn't want a relationship with you. So make sure you watch that as well if you're in that situation. But essentially, when a guy says that to you, believe him. The reasons don't matter, the facts do. Instead of plotting how you're gonna become this amazing woman that gets him to change his mind and finally gets this guy to commit, take his words at face value. You are doing yourself a huge disservice if you delude yourself into thinking that he means something other than what he's saying to you. And what he's saying to you is that he enjoys the physical aspect of the relationship, but he does not want to deal with the emotional aspects that come from being in a relationship. That is why he enjoys hooking up with you, but he doesn't want anything more. That is what he means. That's it. There's not much more to analyze other than that. Number 4, he doesn't try to get to know you. Think about your interactions with him and the kinds of questions he asks you and what your conversations are like. Is it just flirty, mindless banter? Is it just physical innuendos? Or does he ask you deep questions? Does he really try to get to know you and find out who you are? If you're the only one asking deep questions and he's just like making jokes and kind of not reciprocating and trying to get to know you as well, it's a sign that he just wants to keep this relationship or situationship very surface level and doesn't want to take it any deeper than a physical only relationship. Number 5, he doesn't introduce you to his people. He doesn't introduce you to his friends or to his family. He doesn't really seem to care about meeting your friends or family. Now I want to add here though, if he does introduce you to these people, it doesn't necessarily mean much, because some guys introduce girls to their family and they don't really care if it's just been one date, if it's been the 20th date. So you have to take this list as a whole. Don't just look at, oh, well, he did all that other stuff, but he did introduce me to his family, so that means that he must like me. So just keep that in context. But in general, if a guy is just using you, he won't introduce you to his people. It just could be that he doesn't want to give you the wrong idea and have you think that the relationship is more serious than it is. He could also be afraid that one of his family members or his friends will slip up and, you know, mention to you that he's seeing other girls, because if he is just in this for the hookup, he probably is seeing other people as well. So in his mind, it's best to just keep everyone separate. Number 6, you are not a priority. Everything runs on his timetable. He basically only has time for you when he wants to get his needs met. The rest of the time, he's too busy, he's too stressed, he's too slammed, he has too much going on. It's just basically about him and satisfying his needs and not really putting you first in any way. You basically never feel important to him. It always feels like something else is coming before you. Number 7, he openly flirts with other women. If a guy does this, he is kind of unconsciously telling you that he is not exclusive to you and he wants you to know that without having to have that uncomfortable conversation with you. It's also possible that he just doesn't think he's doing anything wrong because he's in a casual situationship with you, and so he's flirting with other women because he's allowed to, because you guys guys aren't exclusive and you aren't anything. So if he openly flirts with other women in front of you, he openly texts other women in front of you, or flirts with them in the comment section on Instagram, it is a strong sign that he is just using you. Number 8, he doesn't share his true self with you. If a guy is not interested in getting serious with you, he will probably withhold the deep parts of himself, because it's hard for men to open up, and they usually just reserve that for women that they are serious about. On the flip side, guys who are very emotionally leaky and will just disclose everything are also guys you should be wary of, because that's just a sign of emotional instability. And guys who are emotionally unstable are usually in a very selfish headspace, and he could also be using you. But in general, if a guy is just not interested in anything serious with you, just kind of wants it to be a physical only type of relationship, he will withhold who he truly is and just keep the conversation very surface level, innocent, flirty banter, that's it. Number 9, he's selfish. If a guy is just using you, you'll notice that it is all about him. He's only thinking about himself and his needs. It runs on his timetable. He wants you to drive to him. He wants you to work around his schedule. He wants you to meet him when it's convenient. He never really factors you in. So this is a sign that he's using you, or it's also just a sign that he's a jerk. Either way, you don't want to be involved with a guy like that. Number 10, he talks about the future and you are not in it. He might talk about how he wants to go to grad school across the country, or he wants to go live in Europe for a few years, and he makes no mention of you being a part of this plan at all. It reminds me of the episode of Sex and the City where Big tells Carrie that, like, oh, I just am gonna be moving to Paris. And she's like, what? Like, you didn't even think to tell me? So that's a classic example of this. He just kind of is making his own plans and you're not even a factor in his decision making. Number 11, you feel it in your gut. We know when someone is using us. We just don't want to admit it. The reason why it's so confusing is because he's not mean to you all the time. He's not treating you badly all the time. A lot of the time, he's really nice to you. A lot of the time, he does sweet things and he is romantic. And that's what you hold on to. And you try to ignore the rest, and you try to use the good stuff as proof that reality is as you want it to be, even though deep down you know the truth. You're watching this video because deep down you know the truth. You know that this guy doesn't value you the way that you deserve to be valued. I know that it's not something that you want to hear. I really hate being the bearer of bad news, but now I'm going to tell you what to do about it. So you're in a situation with a guy who won't commit to you. You feel like he's using you. What should you do? Well, you could try bringing it up, but I just want to caution you here, because it's not really your role to have to go out on this emotional limb. And if a guy likes you, he usually will step up and claim you the majority of the time. Maybe there are rare exceptional times when he won't, but if a guy likes you, he will want you to be his. He won't want to risk losing you. So if you're the one that has to bring this up, it's already kind of a bad sign. So I'd already go in with extremely low expectations. You could just be casual, cool, casual, not emotional and dramatic. Because if you come at him emotional and dramatic, he's just going to shut you out completely and you're not going to get anywhere. Just casually say, look, I really like you and I'd really like for this to be something more. And then see what he says. See how he responds. If he's like, no, I want things exactly as they are, then that's it. If he does take some initiative after that and steps it up and progresses and starts taking you out and starts, deepening the relationship, then that's great. So you throw that out there. You can go out on that emotional limb, see what comes back your way. If nothing comes back your way, then that's it. Don't grasp at straws here. Just let it go gracefully. Keep your dignity intact. I am sorry if this video was painful for you. I know it's really hard to accept when reality doesn't align with how you want things to be, but it is just so much better to know the truth, accept the truth, and then move on with your life. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If so, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more relationship content, leave a comment letting me know what you think. For more relationship advice, check out anewmode.com, follow me on Instagram @anewmode, and I will see you guys in the next video.